Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I have on Alex, and he is here to tell us a story.
So for me, my story starts a little bit before COVID. I was already kind of exploring some ideas of like stoicism and enjoying going for walks with my new little puppy. And on those walks, listening to some podcasts, listening to the Happiness Lab or whatever it might be, and learning quite a few things there to help with my own mental. And then COVID happens, and I'm in a relationship with somebody, and that relationship ends, and I come to think about that and reflect on that even while it was ending. I'm like, okay, something's going on. Like I need more kind of help than I necessarily am giving myself in the ways that I'm doing this right now. It was also the time that TikTok and Instagram was getting a lot more into ADHD, and you're seeing a lot more reels coming out with that kind of stuff. And I was, of course, relating to all of it and going, I need to look into this more. So I spent more time learning about it, and I would say it's a hyperfixation of mine ever since. I'm still like constantly trying to learn stuff about it to the point that my algorithms on certain apps understand that's the only content to serve me. It's the only content that's going to work. And like I try to evangelize this at this point and just kind of help people understand more about it as well. But yeah, it got to a point where I started to realize, yeah, this is a thing that I'm struggling with. This is a thing that's been affecting everything. And started learning some of the strategies, started to go look into other things that could help me. So like medications and things like that. Did end up pursuing that, found some that would help me. But at the time it was the idea of, I'm gonna find these and this is gonna help me implement the strategies that I'm gonna be using or that I've already learned. But then I think at this point I'm probably more in like a stasis, like a maintenance kind of level where the medication is helping and the strategies are less intentionally implemented. That, or the fact that maybe they become just so ingrained in some capacity that I just don't notice them. It's like, the first time you try to eat a new food, you're really fixated and focused on the idea of like, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to make sure that it's good and whatever. Whereas 5 years down the road, it's just part of my everyday thing. So maybe I don't give myself enough credit. Maybe I already am implanting quite a few things. But that all to say, it's definitely something that helped raise a lot of awareness for myself about the things that I was struggling with, the things that just made my life more difficult. And now I'm at a point where my lovely partner now, she is very accommodating and trying her best to help and to understand as well these strategies that help with my ADHD. So for example, I came here with a fanny pack. The fanny pack has all the things because to leave the house and to remember all the things to leave the house with is not worth the mental load. So I have that as a helper. Or we'll have things in like a container on the table and it will help me kind of see it more frequently and then get used to building the habit of, taking vitamins or whatever it might be. And then over time, as that habit forms enough where I feel like, okay, I'm not forgetting this at this point. Like this is just part of the habit of the day to day. It can kind of be pushed away or put away or whatever it might be. Yeah, just trying to slowly build these intentional practices and then unintentional things that kind of come up, and it's been a fun little thing.
Okay, first of all, you have a very soothing voice, and you should talk for work.
I teach a gentle yoga on Sunday mornings.
And okay, second, when you said you were struggling and you're like you needed help, can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, what did the struggle feel like, or what was it that you were struggling with that made you notice you needed something?
Sure. Struggles would be emotional regulation. Like now I have a language for it. So the emotional regulation component for myself of just like feeling swayed by my emotions rather than swaying my emotions. So less like just kind of flowing with whatever was kind of happening at that time and not recognizing it or being able to do anything about it or feeling like I could do anything about it. So kind of a helplessness feeling there that I could work on. Focusing for sure, remembering things. It's fascinating the difference when I first started the medication, the ability to recall a thing. That's one part of it. The other part is unlearning the distrust for yourself about your memory. So it was like, okay, I remembered that thing. But instead of going in circles of, did I remember it right though? Did I forget something? Whatever it might be. I had to like slowly, and I'm still doing it. I'm learning the idea of like, did I remember it right? Did I remember it wrong? Did I forget something? Did I miss something? Like that trust yourself component was one of those pieces that definitely was made a lot easier with the medication. Because I was building evidence for myself, right? I was making capacity for my brain to be able to do things in a more organized way. So I could actually like track things, or I could journal about things and write like my experiences over time and reflect on those things. And you're like, oh no, I did remember that, right? Like, oh no, I did. I can like check later or something like that. So that added capacity was really good and really helpful to help kind of retrain some of that stuff for myself. Yeah, and address some of those struggles for organizing and focusing and doing the thing, right? The idea of just being able to sit there and go, okay, I'm a web developer. So the idea of I'm gonna run this application. I'm gonna start debugging this one issue that's going on, not having to just sit there and like feel all the internal attacking discomfort that my brain is like, okay, do the thing. I don't want to do the thing. Do the thing. I don't want to. Right? But now just being able to go, no, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna go and try this thing, and then use some strategies to help make it seem more manageable to do long term as well. So,
what are some of the strategies that you've picked up to help yourself along the way?
So many. Sleep, ironically, is like, it's weird to say it's a strategy, but prioritizing sleep and understanding how to prioritize that sleep. So I'm at the point now where I understand like I need 7 hours to feel fully rested. Cool. I don't have to specifically force myself like I'm going to go to bed at 10. I'm going to wake up at such a no. I can do it that way, or I can think like, okay, if I go to bed now, I need that 7 hours. I'm going to make sure that I have that 7 hours. So whatever happens in the morning has to be able to accommodate the hour that I'm kind of putting myself to bed. So prioritizing that has been a huge strategy, like a huge boost. It sets everything else up. In the winters, trying to make sure that I do get some like light in the mornings, especially when it's dark in the morning. So I have that little happy light that helps me. Tracking things in a way that isn't as overwhelming necessarily. So I have like for me, it's a little e-reader tablet that I can write some stuff down on, but I did use some notebooks as well. Just being able to offload ideas or thoughts to a place, either to help me form more of an idea around it, or get an understanding of, oh, is this worth pursuing or not? Or am I just, is this going to go nowhere? Or even just putting it off for later. So I'm not having to store it in my mind. I can just kind of have it somewhere and know, okay, it's over there. I can come back to it later if I want to, or if I need to. Body doubling is a huge one. So the idea of working alongside somebody. There's so oftentimes I'll be sitting on a work call with somebody, and maybe there's a few people on that call and they're talking and they're doing something, and I'm just being there as the fly on the wall, hearing people talking about working helps me feel more ready to do that work as well.
Yeah. My friends and I body double sometimes too.
Yeah.
And it's just hanging out as well, but it helps.
Yeah. It's like we've had to reframe it and rename it for adulthood here.
Yeah.
But those are the bigger ones, I would say, for sure.
And then I forget how we met exactly.
That's a good question.
I think you listened to my first podcast,
I did.
Then I recognized you at the gym, maybe?
You did recognize me at the gym. I remember that.
I'm not sure if there was anything before that.
Hard to say.
I can never remember these things.
I have to like go through like all these little connecting paths in my head of how it could potentially.
My question, I think, was like we kind of met with you during yoga.
Yeah.
Was yoga something that you were already into, or did that happen like after COVID too?
Yoga was a thing I was introduced to because my mom wanted to go and do some yoga in the morning at the aquatic center downtown. And I was like, okay, I'll go. Did some yoga, was kind of ambivalent about it. And, I didn't have very much flexibility, and it was early in the mornings and things like that. We tried to go to some hot yoga, and I already run very warm. So being in a hot room was incredibly uncomfortable to me. But it was fun to go to and like feel a little stronger potentially, or like feel that bit of challenge. It was nice to do something also with my mom. We went, I think, twice a week to that morning yoga, which was really nice. Over time, building that bit of confidence, building that bit of flexibility, or that relationship with yoga in general. And it really helped with the idea of body awareness for me. I got to a point with yoga where I realized this is how I make sure that I can still move when I'm 60, when I'm 80, whatever it might be. Like you have to build the strength, but also knowing what works, what doesn't, not overdoing things in one way or another, or like turning your knee in the wrong direction because you just don't know necessarily. I think it was a couple of years ago. I was going to Movati. I was taking the hammock classes, the anti-gravity classes, and I was really enjoying them. And I liked the idea of potentially teaching that class, but I needed to have something that I could teach in order to try to take that course and teach that as well. And I was already doing yoga anyways fairly regularly. So I figured, okay, I'm going to try and do this yoga teacher training. Maybe that'll be my teachable in some respect. Hilariously, that is probably the most inline thing with with who I am that I could have done. Like, taking that yoga teacher training really opened my eyes to a lot of things beyond just like the movements themselves necessarily that come from yoga, the mindfulness practice and the internal world introspection. Like, one of the things I remember in my training they talked about is the asanas, the movements are like 2% of the practice and the rest is everything else. And the yoga mindfulness practice has helped a lot for me with my ADHD as well, with the strategies and just like having the language for myself to be able to talk about like, oh, I'm going to go take a break from this. I'm going to go and ground myself and take some time to breathe and, recalibrate myself or whatever it might be. Those are things I wouldn't have done otherwise. So yeah, the yoga's been a huge help. But more specifically to me, I've recommended it to a few people, and it always is like, maybe yes, maybe no. So
okay, but didn't you just say you hate yoga?
I did initially.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. I would say it's probably rooted in the idea of I wasn't good at it, and it's one of those ADHD things where like we were so used to just being good at a thing immediately, right?
Yeah.
Like in school, it was, we're learning about this thing. Oh yeah, I get it. Move on, right?
So you hated yoga initially, but now you don't hate it anymore.
Oh no, now it's my jam. Now it's my everyday. Yeah. It's my basis for so many things at this point. Like everything, I either things are all linked to like neurodivergence in my mind or to yoga, and there's the mishmash of the two. Yeah.
Which I think they balanced each other. The yoga definitely helps balance the ADHD.
Oh yeah.
The hyperactivity with the balance or the grounding.
Yeah. That and all the different parts of it, the gratitude practice that can come from yoga as well, right? This if you do any of the meditation classes at Movati, there's a great few meditation classes there, but they'll walk you through, it could be a gratitude practice for what you're doing, the people in your life, whatever it might be. It can be just like an internal introspection process. There's so many different parts to it, but the gratitude component that I learned from yoga, to apply that every day is to make my life better, is the way I kind of see it, right? And true of the body awareness part and all of it. Yeah, it is just part of life for me at this point.
So do you meditate regularly as well?
I try to. I do my best. It's one of those things of meditation's funny. You can meditate in a whole bunch of different ways. One of the things at the end of our training, we did a meditation retreat where we went to, I think for us, it was at the lodge in Lakeshore, where it would be a small yoga movement to start, and then half an hour of seated meditation or laying down, and then half an hour of walking meditation. So you walk really slowly and mindfully and specifically. And it was nice enough outside that we could actually walk outside and you can, feel the breeze, feel the ground, the leaves, hear things going on around you, whatever it is, and kind of extended the idea of like what meditation can be for me. So sometimes just that, like taking that time to mindfully breathe, oftentimes like when I'm driving or something like that, I find that to be already helpful in a meditative kind of way. Yeah. So often my meditation is just like pulling myself back to breath, because for me, with my mind always going and wanting to go and, having to wrangle it back into place, having something to ground into that's physical and mental can help me so much. So it's like breathing. Okay, cool. I can feel that breath. I can notice how that feels. I can count that breath in my head. There's enough sensation going on that I can stay there more easily.
You're not on social media too much, right?
Not really.
Are you? No. Was that always like that, or was that like a thing you had to do?
So I'm a consumer of social media. I'm not a creator of content on social media. I still consume a fair bit, I would say. Okay. So I am on, just creeping, lurking, whatever it is. Creating content, I've never felt drawn to, I suppose.
No, my question, I guess, was just because I'm addicted to social media. A huge problem. So I actually had to pay for a app blocker,
Okay.
and it turns it off for me after 5 minutes. Like, it'll just close it. And so, you
Interesting.
know how Apple like asks you, and you're like, no, like 1 more minute, and then
Yeah.
it stops asking.
Yeah.
But this one will just close it after 5 minutes, and so it also limits the number of opens that you can get. So I give myself like 10 opens for Instagram a day, and I really had to be really mindful after I did that, because like there's so much unconscious habit where I just pick up my phone and I open Instagram. And it's not meditating, but like breaking that habit has brought back calmness to my life. I think it's crazy the difference of just like not constantly consuming social media has made for me. And it's been like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel much more calm.
It's an interesting, I think about this all the time. From the ADHD side of things, it's so interesting, the process of trying to pull away from social media, because to pull away is to be bored. And
Yes.
for us, boredom feels like death. Like
Yes.
it is brutal, right? Like brutal. Boredom is meant to be uncomfortable, but my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then social media is just such an easy way to get that boredom to kind of set aside, whatever it is. I would have such a hard time using a system like that, unfortunately, because I am like a system person. So I would be like, no phone, I'm in charge. You're not in charge. If I want to consume, I'm going to consume, right? Like you're not going to stop me. But I'm trying to think of how I even pull away from social media sometimes. I think I kind of go based on how I'm feeling in my body, or if I am not feeling in my body. So if I start noticing that I'm just zoning out completely and it's not in a restful way, then I will try to just get up and go like, okay, I'm going to go and do something small to get started. Like I need something to pull me in a direction instead of something to push me away. Pushing away is like, I'm going to resist it and be like, no, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Whereas something to pull me towards it is so much more enticing. So for example, like dishes or something that I use.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Picking dishes over Instagram.
Yeah. Because you get to feel that little bit of good about like, I did a good thing. And now there's less dishes that we have to necessarily look at. And
That just means you're more grown up than me.
I don't know about that. I just like it's like the kids that get the gold star, right?
Yeah.
I like the gold star. So I get to be like, oh, I did that thing, right?
Yeah.
I run off of momentum. So I need something to help me get momentum. I don't get momentum out of nothing, and I don't get momentum out of negative, I say negative, but like punishing behavior kind of thing. So I almost leave, like there's an agreement in my house where the dishes, you leave the dishes are mine, because I need that task to exist there to be able to use it when I need to get myself going, get myself started on anything. So often I'll just, it's like, oh, I'm doing dishes, I need to go work on this thing. I will, but I need to kind of build myself up to that point.
That first little win. Yeah. That's easy.
Yeah. I need that first little win.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure might be, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I'm hoping eventually I can do it from a more social way rather than just me grinding through by myself, right?
Yeah.
Like I would love to be that person that reaches out to somebody and goes like, hey, I'm struggling to get started on this thing. You mind body doubling with me right now? In my head. And I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I have the words, I have the verbiage, and then I go to do it and I go, but now I'm being an inconvenience to somebody. So I don't know about it.
I know you just joined not just joined, but I know you're a part of Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. What was the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning is talking in front of people is terrifying to me.
So yeah?
Oh yeah. Ironic, isn't it? That I'm like a yoga teacher.
Yeah, but like there's like context, right? Like sometimes in different contexts, it's okay.
No, I'm nervous in every context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I taught at the college for a while, and that was nerve-wracking. Yeah. Because I love teaching. I love the idea of like spreading information or getting to talk through something that I'm interested in. But like being in the front and having everybody looking, and a lot of that fear, I think, comes from that history I have with forgetting a thing on the spot, right? Even at Toastmasters right now, I'm working on it this year, the idea of planning something, like pre-planning a speech more or less, and actually delivering something pre-planned, because I do not function that way in most aspects. I am an extemporaneous speaker, where it's like I can have like general idea of like this, maybe having something written down that shows me keywords to help me stay on track that I can reference is a little bit helpful. But to have like a speech written and practiced and deliver is not in my
Yeah.
skill set right now at all, right? So it's almost like something to help me take that time to sit down and actually write that speech and practice
Yeah.
that speech beforehand and all those things, instead of just like winging it and going by the seat of my pants kind of thing that I tend to like to do in
You
other
know what I'm
cases.
gonna say next? You
Mm.
have to come to my event.
I would, but your event is when I'm teaching. Maybe someday when my class changes around or something like that.
It's weird that speaking is such a fear for so many people. But when people get to the other side of it, there's a lot of, I think, excitement and proudness.
Yeah.
Pride that comes out of it.
I've thought a lot about it. Inside Out 2, the movie,
Mm.
when it came out, and it presented the more complex emotions. I love those movies. One of the characters out of that gave me an idea of an insight into myself about things like public speaking, for example. So the public speaking, the fear for me comes holistically from that fear of like embarrassment. So that the big pink guy, right? I can even think back to like speeches that I've given in school where like I left feeling like very embarrassed, and
Mm.
obviously I was just internalizing all this stuff that nobody cared about whatsoever, but I very much cared about and I very much felt very strongly about. That's one of the things I think I struggle with the most when it comes to things like public speaking, where it's like I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't like that feeling of necessarily being embarrassed, but then I contradict myself by pursuing it actively and like trying to do it.
Oh, isn't that just like knowing your weak spot and trying to push yourself?
I hope so, because the alternative is just like masochism. So
It's funny that I also have that embarrassment
mm,
thing where it makes me stay quiet a lot. And for me, it's not about like being public or speaking, but for me, it's like I can't have too much fun because then I'll be embarrassing.
yes, I know exactly this idea of like losing myself as I.
Yeah, like looking too wild or like being, I don't know, the loud girl over there or something.
Tell me more about the experiences you had growing up.
I know, right?
I think it's a really common thing with ADHDers, especially where like, especially because of the hyperactivity component, right? Like we just go on and on, especially if you're interested and
That
excited about a
that
thing.
tracks.
Yeah, right. It's just like, oh yeah, so we probably all had that experience at some point, and then post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic growth, one way or the other. People went in different directions on it, trying the post-traumatic growth, but it's hard.
Yeah, I think we have to. Well, you mentioned it. I forgot what you were talking about.
Mm.
But the underlying message, the social media where you're able to step away. I think the underlying thing that I heard is that you're just really aware. You've practiced that self-awareness to know that you're like, oh, maybe this is a numbing behavior right now and I should walk away.
I try really, really, really hard.
Yeah, I think that's a skill that people need to learn.
It's
I
a
need to learn.
it's a double-edged sword for sure. It's one of those things of I'm gonna share it as an anecdote, like a comparison anecdote. When I was doing the yoga teacher training, for example, I was learning about all the history of a lot of things when it comes to yoga as well, and then you talk about enlightenment and whatever it is. Not that it's like a fixed, like a focus necessarily, but it's a topic, and it's an interesting topic to learn about and talk about because it's like, oh, okay, so enlightenment in some capacity. I don't want to go into details of it, but the idea just being like it's not for everybody, right? Or it depends on who you ask and the way that you talk about it, but it's not for everybody necessarily right in the moment that they are where they are right now. And it was a weird thing for me to kind of hear and learn. And then I think about it, and as I practiced more kind of yogic mindfulness practices of like, when you're eating, you're going to chew very slowly. Like that chip is going to take you 3 minutes to eat.
That's gross.
So painful. So painful as an ADHDer, right? But like as you do this process, you definitely build like an awareness and noticing of a lot of the things that you're consuming in whatever capacity. And that process lets you slow things down in a lot of different ways. So even in your interactions, your relationships, and whatever it is. And unfortunately, over time, as I was leaning into this practice, the typical ADHD fashion, you go to one extreme or the other. So going to that extreme of like the extreme mindfulness and the slowing of everything down and whatever it is, this idea of contentment, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like I can be very present, but I'm less happy. Like it's an interesting like zigzag kind of thing where it's like contentment to me was like, oh, this is nice, but it's just kind of bland, which is kind of weird, right? So what was the mindfulness thing. So yeah, like trying to find a balance of that mindfulness has been a hard thing to do, and not just getting like stuck in your own head and thinking about a thing, or dismissing something unnecessarily, or having to attach a reason to everything. So even consuming of social media, I at this point, the biggest guidance that I have for myself when it comes to allowing myself to consume social media is like, am I just trying to take a break? Am I just trying to get some distractible rest? Like, am I in that space to I just need something to disassociate, like to rebuild in my brain, whatever it is, or am I just eating junk food over and over again? Like that's the balance I try to find, not always getting it, but that's like my North Star, I guess, in that capacity.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to work on as well, to understand what it is that I actually want from the social media. One, am I trying to dissociate, which is fine if I want to dissociate.
Yeah.
But number two, am I trying to rest? Because if I'm trying to rest, then going on social media is not really resting, because it's like riling up my brain. So trying to remind myself like why I'm picking up the phone, and actually just doing what it is that I intend to do, which most of the time is rest.
It's difficult to get right no matter what. I feel like no matter what, I'm always getting it wrong, which is probably just a mentality issue. But
it's a journey.
Yeah, it is. It is a journey. It's
I think it's a journey we'll be on forever.
Yeah,
and that's life.
Yeah. And not having to get perfect at everything, and just letting some things just be, right? It's hard.
What is advice maybe that you wish someone had told you?
Oof. I mean, the main one again is that sleep. Sleep is so crucially, critically important. Understand your sleep if you can. The way that I went about it was, I remember where I heard this, but the idea of you go to bed at as early as you necessarily can. So maybe like the night before, you don't sleep very much so that you are more tired that day. So you go to bed whenever you can. And then whenever you wake up, you note the time. And you do this a few times. So I was going to bed at like 9, getting up at like 5 or 4 or something like that. It would have been 4 in the morning. And over time, you kind of get to learn what your natural kind of rhythm might be, because it can vary. I always just think it was 8. I always heard like 8 hours. 8 hours. You got to get your 8 hours. And then over time, like 8 hours, I feel tired. Like I feel bad. So taking that time to let yourself learn what your sleep, like how much sleep you actually need to feel rested, to feel actually rested, is really helpful.
So how many hours do you get?
7. I'm a 7-hour sleeper. I am starting to trickle down into the 6.5 hour, just because I joke with my wife that I'm just getting older. And as time goes on, I guess we need less sleep.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's nice not to have to sleep as much, but it's kind of scary to think about that idea. Prioritize sleep. I don't know, the cliches always come to mind, like don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay.
Of course, yeah.
People don't care as much as you think they do, which is a great and a terrible thing all at once. Like I love, and I always did love, the idea of trying to be as authentic as I can. And you hear on social media all the time of like, you know, if people if they're not here for whatever you have to bring, then they can just kind of move on. Like you don't need them in your lives necessarily. Not to say like be as brutal as brutal as that can necessarily be, but just the right people will stick around. The right people you will find the right people. Like just keep being the way you are without causing harm, I would say. That's like my upper limit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If people like your vibe, they want to talk to you more, where can they find you?
Nobody. Teach a couple classes there. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram. I think it's probably the easiest one, because I think Facebook, it's hard to find me. What is it? A Millennial Project on Instagram.
I think so. Yeah, we'll link it in the show description.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you teach at Movati Thursday nights.
Thursday nights, I teach a nice low hammock class, an anti-gravity class, and then on Sunday mornings at 8:30, I teach a gentle slow flow yoga, just to kind of wake up and have a nice start to the day.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and a couple times at Shanti here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another yoga studio off of McDougall and just north of Tecumseh.
Yeah, near Tecumseh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for No. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.